This is a D20NN News Break.
The Nuadan Chronicles is an electro-fantasy RPG set in the post-apocalyptic world of Nuada, a place of ephemeral magic. The creators just finished a successful Kickstarter campaign, and we're happy to be joined today by one of those creators. Brooke Junker is joining us from Atlanta, Georgia. Brooke, thanks so much for being here.
Hi, it's so great to be here. Thanks.
So let's see if I can summarize this game for our viewers. H.P. Lovecraft plus steampunk plus the Da Vinci Code. Am I on the right track there?
That would probably be pretty accurate. Yeah. We have an element of like sort of cosmic existential horror in the background with a bit of steampunk. And in terms of Da Vinci Code, there is sort of this ancient conspiracy going on in the background as well. We like to call our game an electro fantasy RPG because it combines elements of both magic and technology.
So how did the idea for this game come to be? Who all is involved with creating the world of Nuada?
So this came about like 6.5 years ago. It's me and my husband. We're in our apartment, and we started out with homebrew for Warhammer 40K. We were making the homebrew module for Dark Heresy, first edition, and we're like, okay, it's like we'll change this rule, and then we'll change this rule, and then it eventually got to the point where we're like, well, I think we're just gonna make our own game, and it's literally just been me and my husband. And we've had help, a lot of help from our friends, a lot of support. They play tested our game. They've given us feedback. We have a friend who's done like all the graphic design work, like the thing behind me, she did both of those logos. And up to this point, it's kind of just been us and self-funding. We've been able to work with some amazing artists as well, and we'll continue to work with them.
But beware, otherworldly creatures haunt the wildlands, and monsters lurk in the shadows of the world. They have not forgotten, nor can they forgive the injustices inflicted upon them.
Now, your preview images on Kickstarter had some gnarly-looking beasts, in particular the lava behemoth. What other creatures and foes may we encounter?
Yes, so Fae are one of the cooler creatures that we have in the game. They were created from the cataclysm that sort of kind of screwed up the world, and everything sort of reset and rebuilt itself. And these things are basically pure magic. They're kind of immortal, and they have these sort of crystal hearts that if you pierce them and they break, they turn into 3 smaller versions of themselves. If they absorb magic, then they become bigger. So you kind of have like them wandering all over the world, and sometimes they're attracted to human settlements, and that causes problems. Other creatures that we have are more like, we have dire griffins, we have like giant sort of like elephant-like creatures we call Zodu. And then we have like pets that you can have. Like there's this little like ferret sort of like snake creature we call a Poochie. And all of that art will be in our book, that you can see all these cool creatures and how they exist in the world.
Now, by all accounts, you had a very successful Kickstarter. Backers pledged more than double what you were asking for. What made this such a success? What were the key ingredients?
So we have talked about this a lot, about what it takes to make a successful tabletop role-playing game specifically. And we've come up with 3 pillars that like you really need to get right. And there's a 4th like kind of bonus one. It's game design. You need to have someone who can crunch numbers and balance and come up with the rules for the game. You need to have a writer, someone who can write the lore and build the world and ask the questions that need answering. And then you need someone who can do art. Neither of us can draw. Like, I do the writing, Jason, my husband, does the game design. We can not draw, so we get other people to do that for us. The 4th kind of bonus one, I would think, is just marketing, is having a decent website and a social media presence, and that you start networking as soon as you can. Like, that's so important, because if you just hop on Kickstarter or just start selling your game at some con and nobody knows who you are, chances are not that many people are going to care that could have cared. You could have had way more people interested if you'd invested time building those connections to make sure that your launch is successful.
Now, I think the coolest aspect of this game is you're calling it a living campaign, which means decisions players make at the gaming table can actually influence the path of the game's canon. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes. So I am a huge fan of stories and narratives with consequence. I always want to feel like whatever choices I make have meaning and have impact in the world. So we wanted to make that kind of this big hook for our game, is that not only do you just play through the adventure and play through the campaign and have fun, but there's going to be a bit more weight to the decisions that you make in your adventure, whether a character lives or dies, whether you find some sort of old ruin in technology or you don't. Overall, once we get all those results back after everyone goes to the adventure within a certain timeline and they give us those results, the overall majority will become canon in the world. It will change the world going forward. There will be these ripple effects for good or bad. There could be nations that are here now that will not be here a few years from now. So it's really exciting. It's a cool challenge to write and be a part of, and look forward to what players, what their decisions are going to be.
Now, you're already thinking about expansions for the game. As professional and unique as this game looks, I'm not surprised, but what is in store for the Nuadan Chronicles?
We already have books planned out, just a whole, each nation will get its own release. Right now, the main lore book that we're releasing alongside the rule book is more focused on Uldris, which is one of the 6 nations in our game. So the other 5 would get their own books, and each 5 would incorporate the outcomes of the living storylines, and then there'd be new gear, new magic words that become available, as well as unlocking new areas for players to go into and explore. So we have a bunch of ideas. We can get this into players' hands and keep building on what we have. We're really excited for the future of our game.
Now, we're almost out of time, and I want to thank you, Brooke Junker, for spending time with us today. But before you go, the Kickstarter is now over, but that doesn't mean folks who want in on this project have missed out.
Thanks so much, Chase, for having me. It was great to talk to you about the game. If people are interested in supporting the game or learning more about it, we have our website as well. If you want to pre-order anything, you can currently go to our backer kit. That's available for you to get either the books or the PDFs or any add-ons that you would like to support us.
That's all for this edition of Newsbreak. We'll see you next time. I'm Chase Owen.
Thanks for watching this D20NN Newsbreak. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Check out more of our videos here, or for more of the news that's fit to crit, visit d20nn.com.